Welcome back to Hardware Asylum. In this video, it's going to be a kickoff to a brand new project that I'm going to call Premo. When I first picked up the scam case, I was looking for one with this exact design. I needed to have the vertical vent, I needed to have an LED display, I needed to have turbo reset switches, the key lock, the rocker switch, the whole 9 yards. Now, of course, when I picked up the scam case, it had this basic design. However, it was missing the LED display. The panel had that covered over, and while there is a hole here so that you could put in an LED display, it was a start. Unfortunately, that case showed up broken, and that's a story I like to famously talk about in a lot of the videos, and you can go back and watch those if you'd like. Now, when I picked up the Premo case, it had the design that I was looking for. It was really dirty. Actually, the 5 1/4 and the CD-ROM were broken, so I got it at a discount, which was good. But when I started to compare the scam case against the Premo case, you can see that there are some subtle differences in the way that they were manufactured. And it was likely this was a classic design that was replicated by several manufacturers of the era. The Premo project is not going to be as involved as the scam case or the classic case build, but we will be tearing it apart. I'm going to go through the components that are inside this machine and basically strip it down so that we can start to clean up the bezel. It is in pretty good shape, so we're not going to be doing a retrowrite on this one unless we really have to. But we'll go and dissect it and see what's inside and determine if we have any good components. Now, like in previous kickoff videos, I'm going to go ahead and pull everything out and we're going to clean this case up. Overall, there wasn't much in this machine, just 3 expansion cards. We have a full complement of 30-pin SIM memory, an Ollie chipset, and an Intel 486SX 25 megahertz. Up above, it looks like we have a socket behind all of these cables. That might be an expansion. We'll have to check that out. Next up, let's get the drives out of here. We'll go ahead and start with the CD-ROM on top. According to the label, this is an Acer brand. I'm not sure the speed, but the faceplate is completely gone, so it is likely going to be recycled. Although if somebody in the comments wants to have it, send me a note. Go ahead and get the power unplugged. And the ribbon cable should come out with the drive along with our audio cable. Here we have our Acer drive. Next we'll get the 5 1/4 inch floppy out. Now here's something that you don't see every day. We have crimp connectors to put a Molex splice onto our Molex splitter. Here's the 5 1/4 inch floppy. The latching lever is broken. They should be able to 3D print a new one of those and get this drive working again. This is a Neutronix Mitsumi brand. To get the drives out, we're going to have to remove the motherboard. So let's get to the tray on the back. In terms of construction, this chassis is very similar to the classic case build. Much thicker metal, it has this zinc coating on the outside. However, the motherboard tray is very different from either the scam case or the classic case. We have a couple of screws over here, and it swings out this way based off of the hinges over here on the side. Now, when working with old motherboards and old systems like this, if you're going to be tearing them apart, make sure to mark the front panel connectors. Sometimes they are labeled on the motherboard itself, other times they are not. And 98% of the time, you're not going to have the manual. Now, with those removed, we can remove the motherboard. This particular configuration has a bunch of the nylon standoffs here that interface the PCB with the back panel, and a single screw located right here. This one also shows the proper installation of the little paper washers. As I mentioned, I don't plan to do a retro bright on this particular case, at least at this time. Maybe I will in the future, but we are going to remove some stickers, which this looks like the company that built the machine. And we're going to get some of these scuffs off of here. I'm going to try the magic eraser approach and see if that works. Unfortunately, this case did not come with any feet, but it did come with a bunch of residue from where the feet moved around and stuck to other parts of the case. So we're just going to clean that up, and we'll look for some replacements in the future. And there we have the finished case. This is the first time that I was ever using the magic eraser, and I must say it does a really good job on ABS plastic. There's no more scuffs. I got a lot of the surface dust and smoke or whatever was on there off. I gave the chassis itself a wash with some automotive zip wax soap. Got all the scuffs off. We do have a few chips and a few errors, but that gives the case a little bit of character, I believe. I did need to do a fair amount of metal rework just to get things straightened out, and I did that off camera just because it was a little bit faster. But down here, the case had been dropped on something and this was bowed up slightly, so I went and hit this area with a block of wood and straightened that out nicely. I also had to rework the panel. There was a big dent down here and another one up here. It's amazing what a hammer and a block of wood will do to straighten out metal. And I also straightened out the top. It was kind of bowed in a little bit. As I mentioned, this is the kickoff video for the Premo case building project. If you have a particular system that you would like me to put into this case, please put a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.